Hello and welcome to From the Back Seat on this nice Saturday morning. I am joined again by my co-host.
What up, guys? It's Clark here again. Same freaking time as always, here for you. Don't ever forget that. Can't wait to dive into the topics today. Should be fun.
Yeah, we got a good show lined up. And again, I'm your host, Ethan Haas. And today we are joined by a special guest, and that is my fiance, Kelly Mahoney.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
guys. I know I'd say Ethan's better half.
People would agree with
the
that.
person that Ethan lives for.
Mhm.
The person that Ethan wakes up every day for. Just
Worships the ground.
kind
that
of
you walk
everything
on.
for him.
Really, truthfully.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
You're lucky, Ethan, to be sitting within 6 feet of her right now, truthfully.
Yeah, it's quite cool for her to come on the show. Now,
Mhm.
she is just a segment guest. All she wants to talk about is she heard we talked about uniforms
Yes.
the other day, and she wanted to share on this topic on what her top 5 uniforms in the MLB are and top 5 uniforms on the NFL. So we're going to start off today's show by letting her share those. So Kelly, why don't you get it started? Why don't you start with the MLB? What is your number 5 uniform?
Okay, so I'm starting at the
Bottom,
bottom.
bottom.
So basically, general take about the MLB. A lot of them are just not cute, and they look the same. So a lot of the ones that I picked were the alternates because I felt like they were at least like doing something.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Kelly, you got to look into the camera.
No, I'm looking at you because I feel like this
This is directed at you. It's a conversation. It's like a little,
Yeah.
it's a small desk chat.
I'm telling you because I would like you to then refer this to the MLB.
Yeah, seriously.
No, but you got to tell the camera. This will go on the internet.
Okay. So my first one is the Seattle Mariners green alternates.
The Seattle Mariners,
Yeah.
like that greenish, like turquoise color they have?
Yeah, the greenish teal. Not everyone does that.
Mhm.
I like it. It's different and it's a bold color.
Oh, bold. So you're a fan. What I'm
Yeah,
feeling
that's a
early
nice
on is here that you're a fan of the bold colors on the uniform.
Yeah, because everything's boring. Okay, number 4 is the Cubs blue alternate. Again, a bold blue.
Oh, wait. So
Compared to
is it like the Wrigleyville one that it says across there, or is it like the all
Yeah,
blue?
she's talking about the
I'm
the
talking
solid
about
blue
the
ones.
one that's a solid, nice blue.
Okay.
Yeah. That one, again, bold color.
Not the City Connect.
Yeah, I know what she's saying.
Yeah, not that one. My number 3, and I was going to put this higher, but I decided to keep it in the middle. You just gotta love a purple Colorado Rockies.
Wow.
People don't do purple enough, and I think that's a mistake.
Why is it a mistake that more people don't use?
I feel like a lot of people look good in purple.
Do you really?
Okay, disclaimer, purple is Kelly's favorite color.
But like the range of purple, I think anyone can kind of find their shade. You could do a lilac, you could do like a royal purple, like a deep purple.
Mhm.
You can also go like indigo. And so I think Colorado Rockies got it right.
Okay. Wow. I don't think a lot of people would have had that, but I like it. The purple catches the
Yeah.
eye.
Number 2, St. Louis Cardinals powder blue throwbacks.
Very classy. Very classy.
Again, I just think it's a bold take. They're doing something different.
Mhm.
Literally, when I was looking at the regular jerseys, all of them looked the same. It was like some kind of red, some kind of blue,
Need
the
variation.
same exact font, and it was just
Yeah.
boring. It was just boring.
Really?
If you're going to do something, just be bold about it.
So what I'm getting...
And
yeah,
then-
go ahead. Sorry. I'll ask you at the end.
Oh, I was going to say, and then my number 1, I was going to put the Oakland A's regular jersey
Mhm.
because I like that green. They're making a statement. But I did Oakland A's Kelly Green.
Oh my
alternates 'cause I liked
gosh.
that one
Look at
better.
that. Me and Kelly had the same number 1.
Yeah, that was
It was
Kelly.
the same
That was
one?
Yes.
Clark!
I know. On the
Oh.
friend anniversary, too. Are you kidding me right now?
On the friend anniversary.
We have the same one.
Ethan, we're having a moment.
Yeah, seriously. Could you please clear the area? Kelly, though, I do have to ask, since we're on the topic of baseball uniforms, what did you think? Had you seen the San Diego Padres' new City Connect uniforms? And what do you think of those?
Oh, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
me
But I
too.
was telling Ethan that I think the Padres uniforms are kind of trash.
Okay, well,
no one should put yellow and brown together.
Okay.
It's gross.
What do-
It's disgusting.
What do you think of this?
What's that one? Are you pulling up the City
yeah.
Connect one? Oh. Like they're being different, but again, I wouldn't.
But these are the colors you like.
Yeah, you said bold.
No, like I do like the colors, but I feel like you should have went like complementary colors. Like I think if you're doing like a red, like the reddish orange, you should do the blue, like the complementary.
Wait, where do you see red?
Colors, whatever. I'm seeing the red with the green in the San Diego.
She's talking about on
That's
like
pink.
the 13 and the top.
Oh, it's supposed to be? Nah, that's not.
No,
That's pink.
It's somewhere in between a red and pink.
No, that's not pink.
Kelly might be colorblind. Is purple
No,
your
I
color?
think you might be colorblind.
I'm
No,
colorblind.
I actually don't.
No, it's like a reddish.
It's-
It's like more of a reddish salmon than a pink.
Oh, in the actual logo, it definitely is a pink, but
Oh.
on the uniform, it's like that's a red on
That's
the hat.
totally
That's a
red.
pink.
Oh my god. Clark's color.
That's definitely a red.
It's
Yeah,
a pinkish
Clark.
red.
Okay, maybe you need to do like a poll on this on your TikTok because
Oh,
it's,
yeah?
it's definitely red, and I think we can confirm that Clark's colorblind.
I don't think we can confirm
Okay.
that. I don't think there's any confirmation on that yet. We can take a test.
No, I'm pretty sure we had a conversation about that in May when we were in San Diego.
Oh, because I made one small mistake on color. What was it again?
well, it was just wrong.
Yeah, you and your friend Lauren absolutely just flambéed me because I made one silly little mistake on the color.
Yeah, shout out Lauren. Lauren was right. Okay, do I move on to...
Okay, yeah. Do you want to do your NFL uniforms? All right, so now we're
Okay.
doing top 5 NFL. Start at number 5.
So besides, again, like two of them, or two teams, the Blues, the Reds, and like anything that incorporates a black, I just feel like it's all been done and it's kind of boring. So number 5, Tennessee Titans. I like the different color blue.
The Tennessee Titans clock into the top
Yeah.
5. Those are some people
Yeah.
call the worst uniforms in the NFL.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I like it. It's a different color blue.
Okay.
Because all these teams do the same kind of like mid-tone blue.
All right.
And again, I just think it's boring.
Okay.
I
You
don't
gotta
hate-
be bold about
I
it.
will say I don't hate the. Which ones do you like?
I
The
like
all blue.
the all blue ones. The all like kind of powder blue.
Oh, these ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's cute.
So the uniform she's actually talking about
The powder
is
blue
they have
also.
the bait. Yeah, and then their pants are navy.
Nah, I mean, that's a good.
And
no,
the
I
helmet.
like also like the ones where it's the powder blue pants.
So she's a fan of the color.
Oh,
like
these-
you.
It's a monochromatic.
It's a monochromatic.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's true. I see. I see.
Mhm.
I like the
Mhm.
navy ones. I don't mind the navy Titans.
I know, but Navy's been done before, minus one team.
-1.
Like Navy, love Navy, see a Navy, don't come back Navy.
All right, so what's your number 4?
Number 4 is the LA Chargers.
Okay,
A
that's
little low on the
biased.
list.
Mm-hmm.
Biased.
Well, then my next one you'll think is biased.
Oh,
But again, I like that color blue. At least they're doing something different, and they're not pairing a yellow with a brown like the Padres, because that's just
Why did
gross.
we have
At
to
least
bring
they're
that
doing
up?
yellow and blue. I'm just saying because their second color's yellow. Yeah.
That
Okay.
is true.
Number 3 is the New England
what a
Patriots.
shock.
Just everything about it. The way that they combine a red and a blue, they just do it the best. It's just like
Okay.
Oh, they do it the
Yeah,
best. They do it the best.
they do it the best. You know, sometimes you do think, oh, red and blue, and you just try to throw it together, and like you're clearly just not putting thought into it. New England Patriots, really well thought out. Love the colors, love the design.
Fine.
Just
Interesting take.
superior.
It's clean. I like
cool.
it. I like it.
All right.
You know.
Hey, they were my number 2.
They were.
I think yesterday. All right, so what's your number 3?
Number 2 is the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, I knew it.
Purple. Gotta go purple. Purple and yellow. Beautiful.
Great.
I'm surprised they were
Is it yellow or is it gold?
I was thinking about it. Oh, it's gold, but it kind of looks yellow.
Oh.
Yellow's my second
Oh
favorite
my
color.
gosh! So they're really just
And
right
so,
there.
yeah, the Vikings are just they understood the assignment.
did.
Like it's very nice. Again, I just think everyone looks good in purple, and they got it right. And then number 1, because I just think it's a very fun like color pattern plus some of their, I don't think all their uniforms, but one of their uniforms I like, the Miami Dolphins. Oh, I said Miami Dolphins Classics. I don't know.
So
which
the old
jersey
school.
that
Those are
is.
the stripes with the old
So
dolphin
okay,
holding a
so you
football
guys
on
had the
their
same
helmet.
number one, right?
No, my number one was
Oh,
Chargers.
okay, yeah, never mind. But that's a really good one. Everyone does like those. Great. I
Yeah.
like that one. I like the little. I
They
talked
are.
about this yesterday. I like the little dolphin with the helmet on the helmet itself.
Yeah.
The little guy holding
I
the
also,
football.
too, I think they just have like a fun logo.
Yeah,
Like, I think you can do a lot with that
you can do a
logo.
ton with a dolphin. There's plenty of things to
Yeah.
be done with the dolphin. So that's a good list. I actually like it, except for the
Thank
bias
you.
of the Patriots.
At least I didn't put it number one like Ethan
Yeah,
did.
seriously, Ethan.
You
Have
got to
a
give it a
backbone.
shout out.
The
Yeah,
Chargers just have the
exactly.
best uniforms. Clark put them at number 2.
Oh, I didn't put him at number one though.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. What, did you do the Bengals for
No,
number
I
one?
put them
the
at number
Bengals
5.
are both 5 on our list.
Yeah, again, what are they? What
Orange
are
and
the colors?
black.
Okay, I thought they were orange and brown, and I
Ew.
was like, again, a hot
That's the
take.
Browns.
Exactly. Okay, you said ew to that, but then you're not going to say ew to yellow and brown.
Because it goes well.
That sounds
Yellow and brown
biased.
look great together.
Doesn't.
It looks
No,
good.
It looks
doesn't.
They
fantastic.
were on my list. I had the Padres on my
Yeah.
Ew, ew,
Just be
ew.
Kelly, it's called fashion sense. You need to take a little peek at it.
Yeah, seriously.
This is purple over here.
No. Clark, I would love to see you in like an all yellow and brown outfit because you're never going to wear one because it's trash.
I would wear one immediately. I will show
No, you
up
wouldn't.
at your guys' wedding in a full Padres replica jersey, and that will be my suit.
No, not Padres. I'm not talking Padres. I'm just saying if you wore like a yellow shirt, like that same yellow and brown pants, you would never do that because it doesn't look good
Yeah,
together.
but the yellow is the accent and the brown's the main. Hey, you want me to look like Dwight from The Office when he shows up to work?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find. Yeah, you know what that looks like. That's what I'll go.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Oh,
what's supposed
bless
to
you.
Ethan's sneezing now.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Okay, well, that's it.
All right. Well, this has been Kelly's uniform segment. We hope to have her back soon.
so
Thanks,
soon.
Kelly, for coming on and
So
giving us your top 10. I'm glad you want to be a part of the segment.
Oh my gosh, this is the day
Yeah,
we've been
I
waiting
just
for.
felt like it was needed.
Oh, so needed. We needed the perspective because obviously we did not know the purple. We missed the purple.
Yeah, we didn't put any purple on ours.
I do
so-
like the Vikings one. We did not have purple on there. Though.
Yeah, we did. I like the Vikings.
Okay, bye.
All right. Goodbye. All right. So today's show is our quick hit show, but Clark and I really only have 2 big things we want to talk about because we kind of covered the USC and Freddie Freeman situation the other day. So today we got 2 big things. We got 2 stories coming out of kind of the MLB, kind of not. But our biggest segment, what we're going to start with, is we wanted to break down bad trades. So whenever trades come out, people are always saying whether there's a winner or a loser, and there's always these reactions. And with the NBA offseason happening right now, and all these trades going, whether it's Brogdon to the Celtics or whatever else is happening, where KD's going to go, there's always a picked winner or loser immediately. There's always a grade. So Clark and I decided, let's go back. Let's look at some underrated bad trades. Now, I will admit my NFL one is probably not that underrated. I just want to talk about it. So, Clark, why don't we start off with you? Let's start in the NBA. So we did an NBA, an MLB, and an NFL.
Mhm.
Why don't we start off in the NBA because the NBA offseason. What is an underrated bad trade that you think either set back a franchise or just made them a worse team?
Yeah. My underrated one that I have goes back to the 1998 draft. I think draft night for the NBA is oftentimes where you find some of the more underrated ones. That would be the 1998 draft exchange between the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks, where the Milwaukee Bucks dealt Dirk Nowitzki to the Dallas Mavericks. I feel like Dirk, to me, is probably the second best international player of all time in the NBA, just behind Hakeem Olajuwon at the moment. I think Giannis could be a guy that certainly could pass both of those dudes if he continues to play at the level that he's at. But, I mean, if you look at it, the Mavs drafted Robert Taylor, the 6th pick, and the Bucks took Nowitzki at 9, and so they just basically swapped those players. And I think that when you look at it, I don't exactly know what Robert Taylor did. I looked at his stats, a non-remarkable career. And the Mavericks got Dirk Nowitzki, who now, as we all know, as I've just pointed out, is probably one of the best international players of all time, a first ballot Hall of Fame basketball player, an NBA Finals MVP, an NBA Finals champion, and I believe he won an MVP in there somewhere along the road. So, it was just about everything that you could ask for. Oh, and not only that, but during that draft, the Mavericks also turned around and traded Garrity, who they acquired also in the deal, for Steve Nash from Phoenix. So pretty big night for them for getting a guy in Dirk Nowitzki, and then also at the same time turning a player that they also acquired in the trade for Steve Nash. I think that's pretty underrated. I know a lot of people don't necessarily talk about it just because I don't feel like Garner's like a huge name. I feel like Dirk Nowitzki's kind of been a superstar that's always kind of flown under the radar a little bit in some senses, just because he played in Dallas, the biggest market. But Hall of Fame career, Hall of Fame player, NBA Finals champion, NBA Finals MVP, huge career, 98 trade for between them and the Bucks. I'm sure the Bucks kind of kicked themselves looking back at it. So,
for sure. I don't know if you saw that video. This isn't about the Bucks, but it was about the Minnesota Timberwolves. That the Minnesota Timberwolves have basically just propelled the Warriors to their dynasty.
With Wiggins
via all their moves. Well, Wiggins, and then I forget what else was in the video, but there was evidence even back further about like when KD went there and that they were able to free cap space with the Timberwolves. So yeah, my underrated trade, we got to go back about 10, not quite 10 years. I guess it might be 10 years this year, but mine is OKC sending James Harden.
Oh, to Houston?
Yep. So the official trade is OKC sent James Harden, Cole Aldrich, DeQuan Cook, and Lazar Hayward to Houston for Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, 2 first-round picks, which would turn into Mitch McGray and Steven Adams in a second-round pick. Now, the reason I picked this as a bad trade that no one talks about is because this probably ruined a dynasty.
Oh, ruined,
the OK Thunder.
Yeah.
The OK Thunder, or the Oklahoma City Thunder had James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook, all as young players on young deals, and they decided to trade James Harden, who had just won Sixth Man of the Year, for, honestly, a bunch of stuff that didn't turn anything, besides for Steven Adams. Steven Adams was a good player in the NBA, but could not help them win a championship, could not get Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant back to the finals. So this trade does get talked about, but the reason I think it's really underrated because I would argue this is the reason that Kevin Durant had to go to the Warriors because he couldn't win in Oklahoma City. And this is the reason that Russell Westbrook kind of turned into a ball hog and just
started taking shots needlessly and aimlessly.
Yeah, from the 3-point line, from wherever. He got away from what made him really good in the beginning of his career, which was he was one of the best passers in the league, into trying to become this all-star who can shoot from anywhere, can pull up, which just doesn't work for him. He's not an effective shooter. He's not efficient. I love Russell Westbrook. I think he has all the talent to be really good, but he just doesn't work anymore because he's so used to trying to be the star and pulling up and taking bad shots and trying to get
breaking everything,
triple doubles. Exactly. So that's why I put this as an underrated trade. I mean, James Harden now is not nearly the player he was back then.
But those days in Houston, those teams were legit. I mean, I know they couldn't get past the
No,
Warriors,
he was good in Houston.
But he was unbelievable.
He was good in
He's
Houston.
probably one of the guys now you'd say pure scoring-wise is one of the best of all time.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably say he was the best scorer if Steph Curry wasn't in the league at the same time as him.
No doubt.
No, James Harden was really good in Houston. It was a great deal for Houston. The Thunder really got not that much out of it. The Rockets got a superstar.
I mean, the Thunder did well. They got Steven Adams. I mean, that was a good pick on their end.
Yeah, but he's not at the level of James
not at
Harden.
all, but a solid player. But yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, solid role player. He's good. He was their center for years. But yeah, so that's my underrated trade. So Clark, let's move over now to the NFL. What is your underrated NFL trade?
Yeah, so the NFL is certainly a league that does not get a ton of attention in terms of trades. It's not like baseball or the NBA where trades are more regular. These are kind of more concise. So you kind of have to look back and find things. Again, we're kind of talking about underrated bad trades. I think this was one that ended up being bad for both sides for different reasons. I went back and the Indianapolis Colts, when they for some reason decided to trade for Trent Richardson, and I believe the 2013 offseason, 2012-2013 season after 1 year in Cleveland. They traded a first-round pick for him. For Cleveland, I don't know who they picked with that selection. However, just knowing Cleveland's history, I'm sure whoever it was ended up being crap. So they wasted another one there. But the bigger thing for me is with the Colts, with looking how Andrew Luck's career went, that first-round pick that they gave up for Trent Richardson, who essentially did nothing for them in a single season, could have ended up being an offensive lineman that could have protected him a little bit better and probably saved his career and made him stay in Indianapolis a little bit longer. I think when you look back at Indianapolis, for me, going out and getting Richardson didn't really do anything for them whatsoever. I mean, they ended up using guys like Vic Ballard more than him during that time. So I think it was just foolish. And again, that first round pick, I mean, I know it's just one, but okay, if you get a better lineman in there.
Do you want to know who the first round pick was used for?
Who? Go for it.
Johnny Manziel.
Great job, Cleveland. That was a really good pick. You guys knocked it out of the park again with that one. So good.
That's kind of crazy. It was really Johnny football.
Yeah, so picked with that's so great. What a waste, dude. That was the year they had like 3 first round selections, wasn't it?
I don't know, but when did they pick Brandon Whedon?
That was in 2012. So they were already done with Brandon Whedon after 1 year because he was already like 28. But I'm pretty sure that year.
Yeah, he's so old.
Well, because I remember. Okay, I think that year that they took those guys, it was Phil Taylor who sucked. It was also Justin Gilbert, that corner from Oklahoma, who was terrible. And
he was really bad.
And then Johnny Manziel, and they all sucked. So great job. But then again, back to the Colts. So for me, it's a bigger thing. It's a matter of like, okay, that first round pick that they traded could have been an offensive lineman that could have made Andrew Luck stand upright substantially more and protected him. And so he could have sticked around in the NFL and could still be a Colt right now. But instead, no, they've been trading for guys like Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz, trying to get the situation figured out and even giving contracts to Jacoby Brissett. So it's just one that I think kind of gets flown under the radar because, again, it didn't do anything for the Browns, and for the Colts, it's a question mark of what could have been with that first-round selection.
For sure. So I'll say I was thinking about doing that one as well. Another one I was thinking about is the DeAndre Hopkins for a second-round pick, but everyone talks about that trade, so it's not really under the radar. One that happened the offseason before the DeAndre Hopkins trade that was talked about a lot back then but has not been discussed for a long time is what I would consider probably the worst trade in NFL history, and that's Antonio Brown to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown did not even play a snap in Oakland. He found a way to get out of the Raiders, and this was a guy who denied getting traded to the Buffalo Bills to play with Josh Allen. And then that's what led to Diggs being traded there. So if you want to talk about dominoes, the only reason Stephon Diggs is even in Buffalo is because of this Antonio Brown.
Also, the only
trade.
reason that Justin Jefferson might be in Indianapolis because they swapped the first round for Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that's another good point. What's crazy is Justin Jefferson could have been a Philadelphia Eagle if it weren't for this, but instead they got Jalen Reagor.
And they got Jalen Reagor. What a selection.
Jalen Reagor.
Boy, Jalen Reagor.
But so let's break down the trade a little bit. So the official trade was Antonio Brown to the Raiders for a 3rd and a 5th round pick. And at the time, this felt like a really fair deal. A 3rd and a 5th for Antonio Brown at the time of that career. He was still in his prime. He was still playing really well. Easily a top 5 wide receiver. Honestly, just looking at it now and how the wide receiver market has inflated so much, this is probably technically great value for the Raiders. They probably should have gotten a first. But obviously, they knew something that the media did not, and that's Antonio Brown is absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane.
So let's break down, just because it's fun, let's break down some of the crazy things that happened that offseason. So Antonio Brown is traded, and right before he's traded, he does that video in the Steelers' locker room of him
he's videotaping him after the win of the playoff game. Right?
Yeah. And then he got all mad that Juju Smith-Schuster won MVP, and that's why he wanted to be traded. And then there was that video of him throwing lawn furniture off of the roof of that apartment building in Florida, and it hit a kid. So then he shows up in Vegas, and he freezes his foot almost immediately.
Yeah, nice.
I guess even before that,
it was the helmet
on that hot air balloon.
Like they said, you couldn't wear the old helmet that he had. And he was like, "Oh, well, I can't play then."
Well, what's even funnier is it wasn't that they couldn't wear. They're like, we can get you a Raiders version of that one. And he's like, no, I want my Steelers one. And he painted over the Steelers one with his like Raiders logo.
Idiot. Great job.
And then tried to wear that onto the field, and the NFL was like, no, like you can't. Sorry, like that's illegal. You cannot do that. And he's like, well, I'm not playing anymore. And then he goes as far to call the GM a racial slur against him.
Just right there. There's also a great video of him getting like an ultrasound on like parts of his like chest or whatever, and he just starts farting in the doctor's face just multiple times. That came out. And then there was a video of him like the whole Raiders situation.
Hey, Mr. Big Chest gets it done.
Hey, man, that's all that matters, dude. He's just out there. He just wants to play, man. As John Gruden said, he's one of those understood football players out there. No, just kidding. He's actually just insane, and you're a piece of shit, John Gruden.
Yeah, and then he went on to play one game in New England, and then all of the texts and sexual assault stuff came out. Kept him out until Tom Brady went over to Tampa and brought him back. And then he took off his uniform in the middle of a game and just quit.
Seems about right for him. Seems on brand. Seems like the correct way for him to go out, bozo.
Yeah, seems pretty good. Yeah. So thanks, Antonio Brown. It was good. This is a historically horrible trade. The Raiders basically just burned a third and a fifth on nothing. They got no value out of this. And what's crazy is this might be replaced with Deshaun Watson if Deshaun Watson never plays.
No, I don't think Deshaun. I mean, again, I don't think Deshaun should play. I don't think he should be able to
play I don't either.
At all this season. And I don't even think going forward, I think it should be an indefinite thing. But, yeah, the AB one's just crazy. I mean, it's just
the AB one's crazy.
So, what can you say? There's nothing more when you're farting in a doctor's face. The quote, too, that like the thing that kills me is that they interviewed the doctor about that, and he was like, you know, I'm a professional here conducting an exam, and this man is farting in my face. It's so weird too, because it's just like he's just like doing it, and he's like, oh, sorry about that, and then just does it 2 seconds later. The doctor just doesn't even flinch. Oh my god, it's one of the greatest clips ever I've seen in my life.
Could you imagine, like, you get a medical degree and you have to deal with...
Oh my god, some dude just coming in there tooting right in your schnoz. I'd be like, get this out of here. It's not okay, dude.
Like, just stop.
I know.
All right, so those are NFL ones. Again, Trent Richardson for a first-round pick, Antonio Brown for a third and fifth. So next up, let's move over to the MLB, which probably has the most options because this is where I feel like trading happens the most. I mean, it's become really big in the NBA recently, but I still feel like the MLB is the king. The MLB trade deadline is like a big deal. There are a lot of deals done that just don't happen in other leagues.
Yep.
So Clark, let's break it down.
Yeah. So, you know,
what is your MLB?
Some part of me wanted to be basic and just be like, oh, underrated bad one, like the Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields.
I thought the same thing. I decided
not to do that mainly because I think thinking through it, truthfully, while it was probably a good job in the scouting department for the Padres to recognize that, you know, what Tatis had and what he could be and just dump off Shields' contract at the same time, a decent trade. However, what I wanted to focus on more was one that I think it's caught, and I'm really going to talk about some more of these trades this team has made. But truthfully, if you look at any trade outside of the O'Neal Cruz trade that the Pirates have made in the last 7 years, it's just about as bad as it can truthfully get. So just for reference, the Pirates has managed to trade Joe Musgrove. They've managed to trade Jameson Taillon. They've managed to trade Tyler Glasnow, and they've managed to trade Garrett Cole. The worst defense of them all probably would be the trade in which they traded for Chris Archer and traded back to Tampa Bay Shane Baz, who's one of the top pitching prospects in baseball, Austin Meadows, who's a very productive outfielder. He's in Detroit now. As well, they also gave up Tyler Glasnow, who we know when healthy is an AL Cy Young Award winner. For Chris Archer, who's now put it together a little bit better in Minnesota for the Twins, but in Pittsburgh was absolutely horrible. So basically, for a pitcher who ended up doing nothing for the team they were traded for, the Tampa Bay Rays got 3 all-star caliber players. So I don't know necessarily what's been going on in the Pittsburgh, front office. I don't know. Hopefully there's been a turnover there. But the fact that you've now traded away guys like that, and then when you look at, again, Garrett Cole traded, Joe Musgrove traded, Jameson Taillon traded, it makes you wonder, what were we doing? What did we think we were getting?
Yeah.
Those are Musgrove and Garrett Cole alone, 2 Cy Young guys who, I mean, Musgrove's can be one for this year. Cole is one. And then Tyler Glasnow. Absolutely disgusting Cy Young guy. I mean, the Pirates need a fix there. I think they got it maybe a little bit better. Had some recent trades. But again, the one I really want to focus on, Chris Archer for what ended up being Shane Baz, Austin Meadows, and Tyler Glasnow. That was a pretty tough one for them to swallow, I'm sure.
Yeah. So mine's not in a similar vein. I mean, I could talk about it, and this is just because it hits home. So mine is from the Padres. And so let's go back a little bit to when the Padres felt like they might contend one season. So they decided to make a deal at the deadline.
No, I know which one you're going to talk about.
And so the terms of the deal. So starter Jake Westbrook was traded along with prospect Nick Greenwood to go to the Cardinals. The Padres received Ryan Ludwig. That was the power hitter they were trying to get.
Shit.
And in the trade, the Padres also traded away Corey Kluber to the Cleveland Indians. So Corey Kluber, if you don't know, is a Cy Young winner, and at the time was pretty much pro-ready to go to the MLB. Now, he wasn't a total top prospect when he was pulled up. He was the number 67 prospect in the MLB. So he wasn't in the top 10. It wasn't like a big deal. But he came up and almost had immediate success. And Ryan Ludwig had basically just been a strikeout machine who could hit home runs. It did not help the Padres make the playoffs in 2010. In fact, at the end of the season, they were just win and you're in with a series against the Giants. They needed to win 1 of 3, and they got swept and missed the playoffs, and then the Giants would go on to win the World Series. Now, this trade, no one ever talks about because Ryan Ludwig did absolutely nothing for the Padres, did not help them win, did not help them get over the hump because they didn't make the playoffs. Just not a good player. And then Corey Kluber went on to be a Cy Young winner, is still pitching today, is still in the league, is still playing well. And the Padres were kind of left with nothing. But this kind of leads to the bigger point of there are a lot of trades you could look at between Josh Byard, between A.J. Preller, where you can look at the Padres, and there have been some really questionable decisions.
There's been some really bad ones.
Organization.
I thought for a second when you were going to talk about the Padres, the one that I almost thought about was the Anthony Rizzo for Andrew Kashner.
I thought about it too. But
that one to me was just so disappointing because we traded for Anthony Rizzo and we gave up Adrian Gonzalez, who was the face of the franchise essentially. And we gave up on Rizzo so quick and just traded him for Andrew Kashner.
I mean, Andrew Kashner for at least like 3 seasons in San Diego was a good pitcher. He was productive. But he was nothing to what Anthony Rizzo obviously is today. Anthony Rizzo is a perennial all-star player. Just for context, when Anthony Rizzo, his first at-bat as a Padre was actually a triple. And that felt really cool. He was going to be the new face of the franchise, and then we almost immediately traded him away for not even an ace on our staff.
No, some guy who ended
for Andrew Kashner.
And then we traded him again.
Well, and also Kashner, I'm pretty sure got moved to the bullpen at the end of his career. Like, I don't even think he stuck as a starter.
He ended up being. I mean, it was a joke of a trade. I mean, the Cubs absolute fleece job. I mean, I can't even believe that one is one that really sucks. Again, we gave him like 20 games, and we're like, oh, you're not very good. We're going to trade you for Andrew Kashner because I guess, had no faith in him developing, which was stupid.
I mean, so another Padres one, and this leads to the bigger point I thought about, was us trading for Justin Upton and giving away Max Fried. Again, Max Fried is a amazing pitcher at Atlanta, and we had Justin Upton for 1 season and did not make the playoffs in 2013. I mean, another one you could talk about is, you won't like this, but I mean, honestly, you could debate whether the Will Myers and Trey Turner trade was a good move. I mean, Will Myers still on the team, still productive, but Trey Turner is obviously a better player than Will Myers.
Clearly. You maybe don't get Fernando if you have Trey Turner.
That's true. And then additionally, you could also talk about the Matt Kemp trade to where we traded away Yasmani Grandal.
Yeah, Grandal I kind of get. Even popped for roids twice for this.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, Matt Kemp was
Terrible.
a player.
And didn't care. He actually
yeah.
just didn't want to be in San Diego actually at all for the whole time he was here.
Well, then he called it not a baseball city and went to Atlanta.
Well, he's not a good baseball player, so. And then sucked.
Yeah, he was so past his prime by that
fat
point.
and stupid. So, sorry, Matt Kemp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those were the dark ages of the Padres. Luckily, now we got some good stuff going.
Still get our teeth kicked in by the Dodgers, but who cares?
One more I'd like to say. And so this is when I was doing research for Start Bench Cut last week. And I was looking at OPS leaders to figure out 3 good players to pair together who had similar stats.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that might be super underrated, which is the Padres trading for Austin Nola and giving up Ty France. Ty France has an OPS of 850 right now over in Seattle and is playing incredibly.
Game. He should be the starting American League first baseman.
I mean, he's playing so well, and we're last. I mean, Austin Nola isn't a bad player. I'm not going to deny that
he's not bad, but he's not Ty France.
Productive. He's good. He's not Ty France, and especially because we said this on the last show. Eric Hosmer should be DFA'd. He should not be on the team.
But it's
and
okay, man.
The reason for why we traded Ty France was for that guy. Because of leadership. Leadership.
I hate Eric Hosmer. Don't remind me that Ty France went on the Bucks. That was terrible.
Yeah. See, that's another one. That was another one I thought about.
Hey,
I mean, the rest of that deal really hasn't done anything.
Like Munoz is a good arm, but he's giving up bombs, I feel like, every single time I see him throw.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the deal, Taylor Trammell really hasn't. I mean, Austin Adams has been good for the Padres.
Yeah, actually his arms exploded and he hits every single player in baseball when he's not throwing strikes.
Yep.
And we traded for Dan Altavilla, too. Dump truck Dan. Stinks, though.
Yeah. So are there any other trades you want to talk about?
Oh, no. I think we've rehashed enough Padre ones for me for the day. I think that's good for me.
So this is going to be on the shorter end of the show. There's not a ton to talk about right now. We're trying to stick away from the NBA free agency stuff. We tried to do a theme segment for it, but there's just we're not huge NBA fans. I watch the finals, but I don't watch.
There's just too many moving
game.
Parts right now for me to keep up with it. I mean, I know, like Kevin Durant obviously doesn't want to be in Brooklyn anymore. Because
I know Kyrie wants to go to the Lakers.
Yeah, basically it's the same crap you constantly hear every single year where it's like, oh, someone wants to go to the Lakers, and the Lakers are like, well, we'll trade all these dog crap players and for some picks, and you'll get it as your best player, and they'll be like, okay. So, and then they never perform and they don't do anything.
I am going to talk about, so since we're on this topic, there is one trade of like, oh, the Lakers should make a trade for both KD and Kyrie and package Russell.
What would they take to get that?
Well, so the proposed trade is they trade Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, like 2 firsts, and then some other role player. Like, why would Brooklyn ever accept? I don't get it. People keep trying to tell me, well, Brooklyn would want Westbrook because there's only 1 year left on his deal and then he's expiring. Why do you want $50 million of Russell Westbrook? I don't care if it's 1 year. Why would you pay Westbrook $50 million?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Westbrook's just not that good anymore. I'm a big Westbrook career fan. I think Westbrook's been a great player throughout his career, but it's just here the last couple of years has been pretty bad.
I mean, the fact that he couldn't make it work with Anthony Davis and LeBron is probably meant to be. You know what? I actually thought about that as my underrated NBA move of how bad that was for the Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, the Lakers on paper should not have missed the playoffs.
Oh, but
should not have even been close to it. I know, but that's crazy. They have LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook.
No, I totally agree. It's just ridiculous. But they managed to do it, so good on them, I guess. Way to totally fall flat on the face. So
another one I thought about in the NBA is just the last thing I'll say is I really thought about the Ben Simmons James Harden trade at the deadline.
I would agree.
That was all-time horrible for both teams.
No, I
did
totally
nothing
agree.
For either team.
Nothing has done anything.
But,
so
yeah. All right, so let's move on to our next segment. So, over in the MLB, our favorite commissioner, Rob Manfred, has come out and said that he would like the MLB to expand to 32 teams, matching the number that the NFL is currently at. The league is currently at 30. So, what that means is that 2 new cities will be able to get an MLB team. So Clark and I have both picked a city, and we are going to pitch that city to each other. And then at the end, we will officially endorse which city should most likely get a team. Out of our two options, we'll come to a consensus. So Clark, why don't we start with you? What city do you think should have a baseball team?
Yeah, I think for me, I really balance between two spots here in my mind that I think work, and I think you would have a good draw at for sure. The first one I think I really looked at was putting a team back in Montreal. I think baseball does quite well in Canada. I think the Blue Jays do quite well, and I know people in Montreal want the Expo, like wouldn't mind having the Expos back. You could have that name right back to it. But the eventual one that I ended up going with, just because I think the market would be better. I think it's a very vibrant town right now, especially. And geographically, there's only one team that really dominates the entire region. I said Nashville. I think Nashville, Tennessee is probably the best spot for one to go. If you look really at all the baseball fans in the South, they are all Atlanta Braves fans. That's because the Atlanta Braves rule the Southern market. There truthfully is not, like, I know the Astros and the Rangers are down there, but that's usually Texas who holds on to that. But everywhere else, if you go to Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, all those southern, beltway states down there, they all are Braves fans. So I think if you threw Nashville into the mix, I think there would be a lot of contingency who'd be like, all right, yeah, I don't really have a team. I can latch onto that. And plus, I feel like if you're looking for a market that's definitely exploitable and will make you some profit, I think for sure, and draw crowds, Nashville is a very popular town to be in right now. Again, I could be a little bit biased because I think there's a lot of people in our demographic from the ages like 23 and up. But I think for an expansion-wise, it could work. And it's not like this is like a city without a major team. They have the Titans already there. I think it definitely could work. I think for me, Nashville makes the most sense. I think I would go with that as my pick if I was a commissioner looking at it. Again, Montreal is enticing, but I think there's more likely to be made and had success if you put a team in Nashville.
Yeah, so I'm on your similar wavelength. So all of my cities I thought about are in the South.
Yeah.
I think because the South, you're either a Nationals fan or you're a Braves fan.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of divided up on what you're going to be. You could also be a Cardinals fan, I guess.
Yeah.
You want to go all the way over to Missouri, but there's that
like
huge,
like Northeast or like very down South, or it's West Coast or Eastern Seaboard.
It is crazy that the West Coast has 6 teams. I mean, there are 5 in California right now out of the 30. 5th of the league or I guess a 6th of the league is in California. Mm-hmm. But my city is Raleigh, North Carolina.
Really?
I think Raleigh, North Carolina. So the reason I went with Raleigh, and it could be Charlotte, either or, is Raleigh is one of the most booming towns in America right now because of the Research Triangle in Durham. There are a lot of people moving there. Raleigh is central to that entire area because all Virginians have to pretty much be Nationals fans. But if there's a team in Raleigh, they can go down. And then so half of Virginia, South Carolina can go up. And then all of North Carolina can be there. I like your pick of Nashville because that even incorporates more to the West.
Yeah.
Another one that we haven't talked about that should also be an option is New Orleans. New Orleans is another huge town with a lot of history. They already have the Saints who are successful. They have the Pelicans who are successful. Mm-hmm. They could definitely add an MLB team there and be able to get some of that. Now, it might take away a little bit from how big the Houston Astros are, but it makes a lot of sense.
Like
but
Astros fans, Astros are a fan base who have to worry about losing fans. I think they would be fine.
No, I don't think so. But I guess from the commissioner's point of view is you want to pick a place where you're going to get the most amount of fans. Like that's the reasoning why they say San Diego would never get a football team now because of the 2 teams in LA. Mm-hmm. But I feel like for that argument, I feel like it works in the MLB. I don't feel like the Angels, Dodgers, or Padres lose viewership because there are 3 teams in the area.
I agree. I mean, I think when you look, there's plenty of Dodgers fans down in San Diego, obviously, as I like to point out, but no, I don't think they lose or detract anyway another because there's 3 teams in there. Like Oakland fans are still Oakland fans, and Giants fans are still Giants fans. They're right across the bay from one another. So I don't think it's a huge effect. I think it's really for baseball. I feel like I guess a lot of sports it's like okay, you're born into it, like you find it pretty quick.
For sure.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I think Raleigh's an interesting one. I just think maybe too, in some senses. I mean, you know the area better than me. Obviously, you went to Elon, but
Yeah,
I think
so I went to Elon University, which is also by Raleigh. So I'm also a little biased.
so.
I think
My
it would
thing
make
though is
sense.
I think Nashville would be a little bit better, and this is just because of me. And it could be it's more accessible. I think getting in it. I think more people. It's not only that, but I think it's more of a travel destination. I think people would be more willing to go to an away game in Nashville and spend a weekend there watching their team than, maybe say someone going to Raleigh. No disrespect for Raleigh, because obviously I think it's a nice place, but I think Nashville is like a very bussing city, and there's lots of different things you can do and go out, and somewhere I think people would be willing to travel for a like weekend series.
No, that makes total sense. No, I like your pick of Nashville. I didn't think about Nashville.
Mhm.
I like Nashville. That makes a lot of sense. They already have the Titans built in. Raleigh currently doesn't have a team. I think that's another reason that they kind of make sense, is because then they're the only team within the Raleigh-Durham area, which currently has a little bit less than 800,000 people living there.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Nashville. Nashville, a lot of young people like to go. I've never been. I've heard good things about Nashville. Kelly's been. Yeah, but that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I would have.
like
I mean, I don't know. I would have thought that like you would have gone with, if you're going to go with the Carolinas, you would have gone with Charlotte. But
well, so I thought about Charlotte, but the reason I picked Raleigh is because I know their city is actually making a giant push to get a team.
yeah,
I know that their city council is actually pushing.
No, I agree.
There's the capital there. And their big argument is because they're more central to Virginia, so some Virginia fans would leave the Nationals.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
like their kids would become
Well, I
Raleigh
would leave
fans.
the Nationals too if I was a fan of the Nationals. It's not very good right now, so.
No, not very good. Another one I thought about, but it doesn't make much sense, is Portland. Would probably be cool for
Portland would be
an
interesting
MLB team.
for sure. I would agree. Portland would be a different one. I just think though Portland, Oregon. Portland is definitely a spot that people like to point out always as a team. I don't know if it would work though. I don't know if you'd have enough fans.
Yeah. Another one I thought about was Baltimore, but I just think there's too many teams in the Northeast.
There's the Orioles in Baltimore.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
The Orioles.
Yeah, you're right.
Orioles
I totally
are in
forgot
Baltimore. Don't disrespect the O's fans like that.
That's too bad. You're right.
No, I think
I just realized, is the MLB the only league with 6 teams in LA, Chicago, and New York?
because you have in Chicago, you have the Cardinals, the Cardinals, but the Cubs and White Sox,
Yeah,
Mets and Yankees, Dodgers and Angels.
because the NFL, there's not 2 teams in Chicago. In the NBA, not 2 teams in Chicago.
Yeah. Got them covered in both, man. 2 teams in each city. Well, I mean, the Angels are technically in Anaheim. They rebranded it to say Los Angeles, but they're in Anaheim.
Yeah, I mean, it's Orange County, but
still,
it's like an hour.
I feel like
the
it's
city.
definitely a difference. Like when you're going to Chavez Ravine, you're in like downtown LA feeling area.
I will say in general, one city I am surprised that has no major sports team is Austin. I feel like Austin is like the booming town.
Austin definitely. I think though
about.
for Austin, the issue they have there is do you want 3 teams in Texas? And I think the answer is no.
Yeah.
You have the Rangers already there. You have the Astros already there. I think they kind of have that spot cornered. Not as much with the Rangers. I don't think people really care about the Rangers that much right now. That's kind of the Dallas area, Fort Worth, Arlington. I mean, it used to be in Arlington. I think it's in Dallas now, the new stadium. But Austin would make sense. But I don't think they're going to put 3 teams in one state. I mean, at least in Texas. I don't think you're going to do 3 teams in Texas. I know there's multiple in California, but.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's another one that doesn't have a team.
Pittsburgh is the Pirates.
Oh, you're right. Why am I just blanking on this?
Jesus.
It's still early in the morning, guys. I'm just spitballing ideas now. My main one was Raleigh in New Orleans. Those are the main 2 I thought about.
See. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I shouldn't say New Orleans, obviously. I mean, Baton Rouge, when the LSU plays, they sell out Alex Box Stadium every single time that plays. So I feel like Louisiana and New Orleans specifically could go for a baseball team. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
You could do a lot with the names down there, too, especially. They have a minor league team, I think, down there.
Well, like the other reason I was thinking about Raleigh is because the Durham Bulls
Yeah.
are in the Raleigh tri-state area.
It's a Tampa Bay affiliate. I don't know. I think to me, Nashville makes its own sense. I would actually be willing to bet money that they go to Nashville.
No, that makes sense. What do you think would be the other one? So if they pick Nashville, where do you think their second one would be? Because they're going to add 2 teams. I'm fine endorsing Nashville. I think Nashville is a good pick. I like that.
I think in some weird sense, I don't know if I would want to endorse the second one, but I mean, I like Raleigh. I think that's a good one. I, for some reason, think, though, there is going to be a temptation to go back to Montreal. Have 2 teams.
You think so?
Well, because, okay, they've had the discussions about building a stadium for, like, the whole weird Tampa Bay Rays, like, 2 stadium during 2 different seasons. Yeah. I think Montreal wants a team.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they want them back. I don't think they wanted the Expos to leave. They were pretty popular up there. But, again, I don't know if they would go for 2 teams north of the border. But because the thing you got to consider, too, is they got to play some in divisions that are going to, like, because the division will be shaken up again because they're evened out right now.
I mean, could they add Vancouver and then then they add an East Coast team and a West Coast team?
Yeah, they're probably looking to add an East and a West.
But is Vancouver too close to Seattle for it to really work?
I don't know. Northwesterners are pretty big on stuff. I don't know. It's Canadians are a whole different breed. Like, how many hockey teams are there in Canada? There's Ottawa, there's Edmonton. There's all those teams up there, and they still do fine. But I guess it's a smaller stadium in hockey. But I think Nashville's one I'm definitely on. I just don't know about the second one. I could see Raleigh, though. But I think would those be two?
The other thing about Canada is, I guess it wouldn't be an issue. I'm just thinking of, like, if they were to play into October, how cold does it get up?
Just have a dome.
Like,
you could just do it.
I guess they could have
the Rogers Center's ugly, but it's a retractable roof.
This is one thing I've always wondered. Maybe you know the answer. Why does Tampa Bay have a roof? Why are they in a dome?
How hot it would be in St. Petersburg, Florida, Tampa Bay during the summer if they didn't have a roof in that place.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Miami also.
So gross. It rains in Florida all the time. They could have thunderstorms. It's the same reason the Marlins have a closed roof one.
Yeah, you're right. They also have a roof.
Rangers have one. It gets so hot during the summer. They don't want to deal with that.
That's true.
So.
Another city we didn't talk about, Jacksonville could have a
Jacksonville
because Duval County
barely give a shit about the Jaguars in Duval County. I don't think
Duval County.
Team. Florida's got enough baseball teams that don't have anyone watching them.
Duval.
So
Salt Lake City could have a team, maybe.
Salt Lake City could have one. I just don't know if that's big enough as a city itself.
I mean, the Jazz seem to be popular. The Jazz just traded away Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, the Timberwolves analytics people are losing their minds over that. Time to free Anthony Edwards. Oh, my God. So, but yeah, I think Nashville's the one I'm like very certain on. The other one,
I like that.
The other ones I'm not.
I like Nashville.
Other one I don't know which they would do. I feel like they needed one on the East and one on the West to kind of even things out in each league.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like Nashville.
Yeah, I think Nashville's a good one.
All right. Well, Clark and I are ready to wrap this up. This has been our show. Thank you for listening. Today's episode was our quick hits episode. Sorry it wasn't the most quick hits we've ever had. Usually we go through like 5 or 6 stories. Mm-hmm. There's just, outside of the NBA free agency, it's kind of dominating the news cycle. There's just not that much happening in the MLB.
Yeah, we could have Deshaun Watson updates this next week after the hearing's now concluded. So.
Yeah. Well, and what's going to be really fun coming forward, which was what everyone loves, is mandatory minicamp is happening soon, and everyone loves those huge takes that people make away about mandatory minicamp.
Players, rookies specifically, entire careers are determined by their first minicamp. Like Jamar Chase,
by mandatory minicamp,
isn't good at football because he wasn't good at minicamp and training camp.
How about this? I'm going to give a disclaimer to our listeners. If you see anyone who does fantasy football and they are talking about what they see in mandatory minicamp, do not listen to any of it. Do not. It is all wrong all the time. Like the biggest story is, this is just a Chargers specific one. Last offseason, Justin Jackson, who is the backup running back for the Chargers, was taking multiple snaps out of the slot during mandatory minicamp, during training camp. And people were like, oh, this is like a huge fantasy football pickup. Like he's going to have flex at wide receiver and he's going to be so good for PPR. He did not take one snap at receiver during the season. Not one. What they do in mandatory minicamp and training camp does not reflect what is actually going to happen on the field.
Exactly.
Do not. And if they're like, oh, this player looks really good, pick them up. they're in shorts. You don't know how they're going to look. There's been plenty of players who looked really good during minicamp who just turn out to suck. Maybe the best example of this is Marcus Mariota. People were like losing their mind about Marcus Mariota during his first training camp as a rookie. Mm-hmm. He didn't even make it past his first deal in Tennessee.
Just goes to show.
So Clark and I will probably cover some of those mandatory. Well, maybe we'll do a segment of like debunking mandatory minicamp storylines. And Clark and I will say like, don't follow this one. Maybe this one has credence. Maybe we'll do that next week. Yeah. So mandatory minicamp is coming up. So look forward to that kind of content. Clark and I are on our grind. Of course, our next episode is probably our most popular, which is our most popular segment, which is hot takes. So Clark and I are prepared with our hot takes. We'll be ready for you guys. I got some juicy ones. I'm sorry I tried to clickbait you with that Eli Manning one for that ad to go see us on the other podcast. I do believe Eli Manning should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to lie. I did think about making that a hot take one week. But I went and looked at research and decided that was dumb. And
decided it was not the best idea.
Evidence for, and he decided it was not the best idea. Well, because I was pointing him like, oh, he only has a 500 record. I wonder what that is. And his stats don't line up to the other quarterbacks. And I'm like, well, he won 2 Super Bowls and had 2 historic runs. It's not,
yeah, you know.
He belongs in the Hall of Fame. So this has been our show. Thank you for listening. Look ahead. Our hot takes is next. Make sure to rate, make sure to like, make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. We love interacting with you guys, so continue to interact with us. Make sure to leave 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and leave us 5 stars on Spotify. And then if you use Google Podcasts or anything else, make sure to subscribe and leave us ratings. Again, any 5-star rating you leave or any review you leave, we'll shout you out on the show. We love interacting with you guys, and we love hearing what you think of the show, whether you're enjoying it, whether there's a segment you didn't like that we should move away from.
Let us know.
Yeah, just let us know. Start bench cut has probably been the biggest thing about the biggest proponent of this. When Clark and I did it, we had fun doing it, and then everyone seemed to like those videos on TikTok. Everyone seemed to enjoy those kind of segments. So then Clark and I are making it a staple to show every week. We find it fun. We can kind of stretch ourselves and do things from the past, the present, and talk about these players in a pretty easy way, because you can't do the cop-out of, well, they're so different, because you have to start, you have to bench, and you have to cut one of them. So again, let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. If there's a segment where you're like, don't do that again, we want to hear that, because honestly, the show, if we don't have listeners, is worth nothing. It's just us talking into microphones, which Clark and I do anyway, just not on mics. So again, thank you to all those loyal followers who are enjoying the show. It's been such an honor. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and thank you.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.